Good evening from the Earwax specialist on a very, very late Friday evening here in Birmingham. 11 p.m. to be exact, as I'm waiting for my food from my local takeaway. I felt a little bit peckish after the gym, so I thought I'll pop by and grab something to eat. While I'm in the process of waiting, I thought I'll do a nice little narration on a procedure that we performed earlier this afternoon. And this is a patient who's come in with keratinized dead skin, which is adhered to the back of the ear, and we've got our old culprit, the cotton bud, which is actually responsible for it. It's always quite difficult to actually maneuver this dead skin out of the ear because it's quite dehydrated. You often find just then you might have noticed it was pinching on the back of the eardrum. So we're trying to maneuver it out of the back of the ear, trying not to cause too much discomfort for the patient. The harder it is, the more difficult it is, and usually the more uncomfortable for the patient. But in this instance, it came away with adequate oiling, and this is why with the microsuction procedure, it's not always necessary to oil the ear. Because of our view, because of the depth perception we get, we often can get to those more difficult parts of the eardrum, especially the bony canal, without causing any sort of undue problems or undue sort of issues in the bony canal itself as a consequence of just prodding it more than anything else. We're now moving on to the other ear, mopping up the olive oil drops, and again we're trying to find a layer of dead skin which we can just start to peel off, which you notice is just starting to come away. In a second I'll find a little fold, and there it is. Got a hold of it, and you can see how this extends all the way to the back of the eardrum, and that's been there for a while, and the patient's been complaining of a crackling, a popping, and also a little bit of pain inside the ear, especially where it is over the eardrum like this. This is usually not the kind of thing you want to be doing without an endoscope, or for that matter, even if you were using head loops, you'd want sufficient oiling for a period of time. But with an endoscope, because you have this depth perception and this fantastic field of view, you can actually go in at the right angle and actually prise it off the back of the recess, which is what I'm really trying to do here. So there, at this point here, we get adequate suction just to prise it away, and this large chunk will come away fairly easily in just a second, and there's that instant relief for the patient. Instantly the eardrum is free of any obstruction, and the patient can hear a lot better. Now at this stage looks fairly good, but up in that left hand corner there is still quite a mass which is sort of almost pressed up against the drum, and again preventing the drum from vibrating in the manner it should. And you can see as I've just caught that fold, it really puts into perspective how much is actually there. So initially it may not have seemed like it was a tremendous amount, but as you can see, as we're folding it, it starts to sort of come away, and that's the first chunk of it that's just sort of, that's it, we're just coaxing out, and away it comes. And we've got one last piece here up in the roof, and as that comes away, the eardrum is now free of any sort of obstruction. If you want to learn how to perform endoscopic microsuction, get in touch with us. If you're having any problems, get in touch.